So what are some things we do with our Hudson Sawmill? Well, guys, started out with a basic little Hudson Oscar 30 mill. I continue to add on to this track. I have got a 44-foot long track, which is very long, but I have it for a reason, because I wanted to be able to mill some beams. Now, the little sawmill shed right here obviously was milled with the little Hudson Oscar 30. Now, this is a log turner, a rolling log turner that I built. And basically all it is I purchased these rollers from Hudson Manufacturing, or Hudson Equipment, whatever they call it. And I mounted me a little winch up here, a little Harbor Freight Badland 2500 winch, 12-volt battery. And I gave it a little slower movement here by putting a reducer here, which doubles your strength. Took a piece of 1-inch bar pipe or whatever, heat it and bend it, sharpen the end to turn the logs on. This is my little mill here. It's a relatively old mill. Purchased this thing probably 15 to 16 years ago. What was ironic, it had a Honda motor on it, a little 16 horsepower Honda motor. And I was going to be good to the motor. And so I decided to put 100% synthetic oil in it. And when I did, it burnt the motor up. It beats me, I don't know why. So I went to Harbor Freight and bought this Predator motor. It's 670 cc's. It's probably in the neighborhood of about, I want to say 22, 24 horsepower. Purchased another one that raises the mill up and down. Added a head drive, so this is just an electric 12-volt motor with a 40, like a motorcycle chain, that with a control here runs the mill up and down. And so again, I built this little shed with wood from the mill, but I was just kind of showing you the mill. And so we're going to walk around a little bit, maybe drive over to my shop. I'll show you some other things that we have built with our little Hudson Oscar 30 mill. But you know, it doesn't really start there. It starts in the woods with a tree, and you guys know that. And so anyway, and you look over there, you see I have some logs piled up to be milled. So it actually starts with the tree. You have to cut the tree, cut it to length, and I always cut it 6 inches longer. Then if I want a 10-foot board, I cut it 10'6", because obviously your power saw is not going to be a square cut. So it gives you a little extra leadway to make up for, if you would, the log not being square, and it's not going to be. But if you leave 6 inches extra on there, you'll have plenty of room to square it up. So those are some trees I hauled in that need to be milled. Right here, you'll see some big 12 by 12 pieces of wood that I cut. And in the previous video, what I do when I'm milling, while the mill is actually running down the track cutting the next board, I'll take it off of the mill and I'll throw it on here, and I'll actually stick them as I go so I can band them and then run them to my drying shed. Okay, this is not necessarily in order, but I purchased this big stagger a year or so ago, and you know, it's just not good to leave equipment out in the sun. So if you look up here, those are 4x6s I milled with the sawmill. And this is about a 17-foot, if you would, 17-foot across, which my tractor barely fits in there, but it'll fit in there. So basically, guys, I built this shed with lumber from my mill and actually used tin, which in the video, you had a video of us building this, you would see the used lumber. So it keeps the direct sunlight off my little stagger here, and keeps the rain off of it. So that's one project that I built with my Hudson sawmill. Okay, here's another project. I've got this big metal drying shed. We actually used to store combines and equipment in it, but since then, we're no longer row crop farming, so I converted it over to a drying shed, obviously storage shed for my toys and junk. But anyway, here's another project I built from my Hudson sawmill. So what I did, I added a second floor in here. So if you look up here, those are 6x12 beams that are 28 foot long, kind of freestanding here. Got them on the front and back, right here. So I cut some heavier, if you would, 2x6s, and some are a little heavier than others. So anyway, I used it to make floor joists for a second floor to store stuff. So I just laid those across those two bigger beams. I've got some plywood and sheeted it. I could have used 1x12s, but I just went ahead and did it quickly. So that's what I did with that. Now, and one day I'd like to put an actual ladder up there. But anyway, so it's just full of junk. But you know, it gives me a lot of extra storage space that doesn't need to be down here on the floor cluttering everything up. So here's some lumber that's drying right now. So I've just got it drying in this big metal building now. It was 100 degrees today, guys. It was hot. And so this building, I could imagine gets, when it's closed up, probably 120 to 130 degrees. And you see I've got sticks between it, so it's air drying. And so if you leave that in here about 6 months, if that board weighed 25 pounds and you put it in here, it probably weighs about 8 when it's through drying. And so we've just got it in here drying. And so I've had it stacked up a lot taller than this, but this is some pine lumber I've milled. Actually, I'm going to use in my daughter's house. That's going to be used for flooring. And I've got to cut some seals and stuff. Hadn't got to that yet, but you know what? It's drying. It's out of the weather. It's drying, so we're off to a good start with that. So here's another thing I do with my mill. I'm getting ready to repair some water damage to a floor in her house. So it's another project I will be doing with my mill. Okay, here's something else I did with my mill. Now this is treated cedar, or it was just treated, I guess it's cedar. And it's pretty old. So when I put this outdoor pavilion, I wanted to continue the fence. It's just 1x12s, non-treated pine. It's been up about 2 years. And every once in a while, I will actually take my pump up gun or my electric sprayer and I'll just spray regular bleach on it. Now this is treated right here, or it's cedar, I guess cedar fencing board. And so, but actually you see there, that's done great for 2 years. So just another little project I did with my mill, and by spraying the bleach on it, it keeps bacteria and mold off of it, hence it doesn't rot. And it is exposed to the weather, but so that's another project I do with my mill. Now this is a shot from my pavilion I built out here. That's board and batting pine. And so I do the same thing with it. Occasionally, about once a year, I will come out and I will spray bleach on that in the post also. But that's just regular southern yellow pine. And as you see, that's the back top wall of our outdoor pavilion. So just another, we're gonna go around the other side in a little bit and I'll show you the other side. This is another project I do with my mill. All right, here's another project we built with the Sawmill. And you're thinking, now how did I build a swimming pool with the Sawmill? Well guys, you know, I'm just a country boy. So in my mind, I thought I would build me a cement pool. And so I dug a hole with a mini excavator and I plumbed it and I framed it up with some big beams. And then I took some plywood and I formed it up and we poured it. And I could tell you a little bit about the disaster that happened because of a cement driver who was hard-headed, but we corrected that problem. Got a trench drain running around. So what it does, it kind of catches the water, because when the kids in here playing, we have a lot of parties with the grandkids and family, and water goes everywhere because they like to make as big waves. And so anyway, it is what they call an infinity edge pool. So technically the water, we've got two big 2-inch pipes that go into the pool from the sand filter over there in the corner. And the water runs over that ledge. and we have a seat installed. I had formed up some steps and a U-shaped seat. And down here, you'll see the waterfall. You can walk across that, kids usually run across it. But this is the waterfall, and it's a recirculating thing. So that's another thing I built, if you would, with the Hudson Sawmill. Now next, Linda, you want to look at the outdoor pavilion, and I'll tell you what, we'll come over here, and Linda, you can tell us what we got here.
Well, I need to sand it off again because it's been well used. This is a very wide board. I don't know if it's pine. I don't
Live
know.
edge.
Live edge.
Pine.
And we, you cut it, we were sawing a good while back, and we put 2 whiskey barrels here, and it makes a really great table for serving or cooking on or whatever. And normally I do sand it. It needs to be sanded off again, just the dirt and grime of it. But my granddaughter had a birthday party. It made great for serving, have all your food on. I've had a wedding and different things, different parties. So that's okay. It's just a board. And you can put a board on anything, but I just had a whiskey barrel.
Okay. Yeah. So now here's another thing we built. Of course, we'll talk about the pavilion in a second.
Now this bench, it actually sits very nice. Today it worked out good. We had it moved over there, but we have about, how many of these, 30? My grandson and my husband built them for his wedding, and I think they sit about 6 people very comfortably down. Maybe you can put 8 on them, I guess, depending on what size people you are. But they got a nice bench on, and anyway, we got this for the wedding, but we have this one ourselves, and it makes a nice little seat.
So basically this is a live edge, and we sanded it down, and that's just a 1 inch, but this is like a 2 inch live edge bottom.
Yeah.
And then I just took my power saw, guys, and cut these legs out. And this is a little bit longer one here, so we just cut them and then nailed them or screwed them to those legs, and there we go. We got a really nice bench. We entertain a fair amount with family and friends, and so we have a lot of seating over there, as you can see, stacked up. But we do enjoy the bench there. And occasionally my grandson will rent those out for weddings. Now over here is something that,
One of my favorites.
what do you call it? It's a
swing bed, a swing, a day bed.
kind of a day bed.
You built it with longer than the ones you see you buy in the store. Ours fits a twin size mattress easily and all these pillows, and of course you hung over these ropes. Joey decided he was going to start taking off, and he built this on a Monday afternoon, Monday morning. He told me I'd been asking him to build me one, and I said, "Are you ever going to do it?" And he said, "We're going to do it today." And so that day, he sat down and started cutting the board, and let me show you.
All right, next I want to talk about what we built from the Hudson Sawmill, the little band sawmill. So basically right here, we did have to move a septic tank for the outdoor pavilion, but I formed this slab up with lumber from the outdoor sawmill. In fact, every cement thing we have was formed up pretty much from it out here now. So what we have here is our outdoor pavilion. And again, I said we have a large family, do a lot of entertaining. And so what I did, one of the main reasons I have a long track, I wanted to be able to mill some very long timbers. So that's a 6x12 that's 28 foot long. And this is a 6x12 on the side, one solid piece that's 32 foot long. And then for our roof or our ceiling up here, those are 4x6s, and then those are 1x10, 1 inch, well, it's 1x10s obviously, decking material or ceiling material. And then I took some 2x4s and used them spaced apart so I could put the insulation between it, and then we screwed down the roofing. So anyway, this is, yeah, my wife wants to tell a little bit about it. So now, guys, hang on, Linda. if you look right here, it's really not put together with pegs,
Look,
but that's,
you not believe how many people think this
but
is
they
pegs.
think it's pegged together, but really it's not. I used some very
fake.
long wood screws to attach it together. I drilled a hole, 1-inch hole, cut some dowels, but it looks cool. You know, if people don't know about building stuff, it does look cool.
And the only thing I was going to say, whenever he's talking about building this, he had very little bit of help on this. My grandson helped him some. My son-in-law helped today or something, but
About an hour.
he basically did this by himself. I don't, like I said, my grandson helped him with a few things, and one day there's going to be a video completed on it. I completely have a film.
But anyway, this is something else I built with the Hudson Sawmill, the band sawmill. So if you're wondering what you can do with a Hudson band sawmill or really pretty much any of the band sawmills, there's so much you can do. So I have a steep pitch for the roof, and we did put gutters around it. But as you can see, guys, it makes a wonderful outdoor pavilion. And I was going to actually put cooking over here, and then I decided I was going to add on a drop shed and put cooking over there. But I changed my mind. Actually, I'm going to build another little shed over there where I can do my cooking, so where the guests are, it's not hot. And I can go out there and do my cooking and then just bring the food back up to the house. So this is just a shot from looking at it from the opposite end of the outdoor pavilion, from the pool side. Again, it's an infinity edge pool that I built. And then I put the outdoor pavilion up there. But again, you know, I've done so many projects with that little Hudson Sawmill. And my next project later down the road, I would like to do that same thing by a lake I own and box it in and make me a little cabin over there with a big ceiling like that in it and a porch that looks like that coming out front. But anyway, so guys, if you're wondering why would anybody want a sawmill, what would you do with a sawmill? You know, if you have access to equipment, you have access to woods, trees, so much you can do. And you know what's funny? I have lots of woods. I have lots of trees. I have trees everywhere down here in the deep south. But you know what's amazing? Most of my timber, people give it to me. They want to cut a tree out of a yard. They had a tree to fall from a storm and they beg me, come get it. And most times they'll cut it to the length I ask, and then they'll actually have something there to load it with, and I'll bring it home and unload it. So anyway, just a few things you can do with a sawmill. Hope you've enjoyed it. Comment with any questions, like, subscribe. Hey, we'd love to have you follow us. You know, we want to continue to keep doing these videos, and we're going to if we have support. If you guys like this content, now we're all over the map. We do a lot out here in the deep south. So if you like this, please like, subscribe, share, and let me know. Thank you, and goodbye.